See something, say something.
This is the unofficial motto for security here at the Super Bowl. The game itself will take place at MetLife Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey, but all the pregame festivities are taking place here in Times Square.
The collaboration and cooperation that has gone on between these agencies, many of which are up here with me at the podium. It is totally unprecedented.
So far, so good.
I can speak for Commissioner Goodell in saying that we are deeply appreciative of the leadership, resources, and attention to detail put forth by our public safety partners.
Both New Jersey and New York State Police, the FBI, and even the Secretary of Homeland Security will be around to keep the streets safe.
We are doing all we can to ensure a safe and enjoyable event on Sunday.
Here on Super Bowl Boulevard, there are police officers on every corner, but the security here is nothing like it is at MetLife Stadium.
Since last Sunday, MetLife Stadium and the surrounding Meadowlands complex has been locked down. Every vehicle that goes through or comes into that property since Sunday at midnight goes through some thermal imaging technology and some X-ray technology.
And that's just the beginning. Fans will not be allowed to bring banners, umbrellas, or certain cameras into the stadium. U.S. Immigration Special Agent Andrew McLeese says the ultimate goal is to maximize safety without sacrificing fan experience. In New York, Mike Lucas, WEBN. And with that, the Year of the Horse officially begins. In Chinese culture, the horse represents strength and power. Boston welcomes the Chinese New Year with a parade down Essex Street in Chinatown.
It's so much fun. It's a once-a-year event.
The main attraction, the traditional lion dances.
It's great to see the dancers being so acrobatic. They're jumping on top of each other, and it's really such a big part of Chinese culture.
The lion dancers are proud to be part of this tradition.
I'm very proud of it because line dancing is part of my culture, and I've always wanted to do it because I always seen it done as a little kid, and I'm really happy they can do it, especially in front of all these people.
Here in Boston's Chinatown district, the lion dancing is just one of the reasons people come out to celebrate Chinese New Year, but it's not the only reason.
It's really communal, and it's great to see such a mingling of cultures as well. There's a lot of Chinese people out here, but there's a lot of tourists as well.
Some Bostonians came out to feel the unity between different cultures.
Just seeing all the different people and how we can all come together and be one.
The lion dancers scatter lettuce on thousands of people attending the parade as a symbol of good luck and good fortune for the new year. And that's something everybody can appreciate. In Boston, Mike Lucas, WEBN. These are plastinates. They were once real human beings, but now their bodies on display. Teachers are using them to help their students visualize what they're learning.
So to see how the muscles work and how they are attached and how things are functioning inside the body and how everything looks, I think that will help them to get a better visualization and better understanding when people have disease processes.
For students hoping to pursue a career in health, the exhibit is an opportunity to get a first look at what they might deal with in the future.
This is an opportunity to incorporate into our frameworks the anatomy and physiology portion, and hoping that they get enough of what the body looks like, how the body works, so that they'll be able to take care of the body when they're out there in their health careers.
Sometimes seeing is believing. The faculty here at the Body World's Vital exhibit and the professors that bring their students here hope to instill change when their students see the difference between a healthy organ and an unhealthy organ.
Smoking, drug use, and alcohol intake. We talk about that in school, and now to actually visualize the liver and the changes that can occur with alcohol or drug use and a smoker's lung compared to a healthy lung, I hope that these have a real visual impact on the students. And it appears to be working.
Makes me want to be healthier a little bit more because I know it's pretty crazy how it works.
Whether you learn visually or not, this exhibit will change the way you look at the human body. Reporting from Boston, Mike Lucas, WEBN.
It's programs, kid. Let's go Red Sox!
Those sounds can only mean one thing: the start of a new season for the Boston Red Sox. For vendors on Lansdowne Street and Yawkey Way, The home opener is like a holiday.
It's kind of like Christmas Eve a little bit, maybe a little bit like New Year's Eve too.
Opening day is usually a really great day as far as sales.
Opening day is opening day. It's like the beginning of spring. It's an epic event.
Just brings a lot of excitement and a lot of good business, hopefully.
Opening day is one of the busiest days here for street vendors, but the biggest business factor is the success of the Red Sox.
World Series stuff always helps us out, you know. I mean, last year after winning the World Series, you know, player shirts like Big Papi, Pedroia and those shirts. Now you got Bogarts, which we're looking for. John Lester's always a big sale.
On the other hand, when the team doesn't perform well, business suffers.
When Bobby V was here, it was terrible. It was just awful. I mean, it was. Now I know what it felt like to be in the United States in 1929. It was like a depression here.
It's all together. I mean, Red Sox and business out here. If the Red Sox aren't winning, you know, it's tough on us out here too.
Luckily for these vendors, the Red Sox are expected to compete for another World Series championship in 2014. At Fenway Park, Mike Lucas, WEBN. This is a story about having someone's back. Matt Zeller is a U.S. war veteran, and Janice Shinwari was his translator. In Afghanistan, they saved each other's lives.
There was 2 more Taliban that they were trying to kill him. And I ran to Matt and I shot those 2 Taliban.
If he hadn't been there, I wouldn't be standing here talking to you right now.
This heroic act formed a brotherhood. When it was time for Matt to return to the States, he promised Janice he'd return the favor by bringing him back too. If he didn't,
he'd be dead. Hands down. The Taliban would have found him at this point and killed him.
Janice Shinwari is just one Afghan translator who made the trip back from Afghanistan to the United States, but they're not all so lucky. That's why Matt Zeller started the organization, No One Left Behind.
We created it really simple to honor our nation's promise to the Iraqi and Afghan men and women who served our nation while at war as translators.
Former soldiers feel that these translators are just as important to the cause as anyone else.
Some of these interpreters have done more for America than many Americans.
The Taliban consider translators traitors and threaten to kill them and their families in Afghanistan. But escaping the violence isn't the only advantage of moving to the United States.
I know that my children will have a bright future, and they can go to the school, they can go to the college, but in Afghanistan, you know, the situation is not good. Nobody can let their kids go out.
Matt and Janice will meet with members of Congress this week to discuss potential ways to speed up the visa process. Mike Lucas, WEBN.
What comes out of the exhibit is more the hope for the future than the tragedy of the past.
Dear Boston, Messages from the Marathon Memorial is a reformation of the spontaneous tribute that honored last year's marathon victims and survivors at Copley Square.
I think the display they've put on here is beautiful and just very, very moving and heartwarming.
It's a very fitting and moving tribute to all those who were involved and affected.
The exhibition is at the Boston Public Library, about 1 block away from where the bombs went off last year. People from all over the country flock to the exhibit to show their respect.
It's uplifting to see that there are so many good people that pull together to help each other at times like this.
Very powerful, emotional. Just the way that Boston's come together so strong, and I can't really even put it into words, to be honest with you.
Despite last year's tragedy, the general consensus is that the 2014 Boston Marathon will be bigger and better than ever.
It'll be a beautiful event.
Twice as busy as it usually is. They're anticipating probably close to 1 million people.
The city of Boston is promising more security this year, but not everyone feels safe yet.
I don't know if I'm going to stay in the neighborhood that particular day.
With the 2014 marathon less than 2 weeks away, the Dear Boston exhibition is one of the final steps in closing the book on last year's events. In Boston, Mike Lucas, WEBN.
When I think spring in Boston, I think the marathon, I think Patriots Day, I think the Red Sox, and I think the Swan Boats.
Those "sorry we're closed" signs are now being flipped around. The Swan Boats are officially back in action.
I love the Swan Boats. It's just quite an experience. I highly recommend it.
The Swan Boats opened in 1877 and are a staple of Boston's history.
They're sort of a symbol of Boston. I went when I was a little girl with my grandpa, so I come back once in a while just to relive the memories.
Seeing the swan boats back on the lake and the influx of runners in the city can only mean one thing. Springtime is right around the corner.
Everything that happens this weekend, I think, becomes symbolic of Boston and spring. And we're in this amazing botanical garden that just kind of comes to life this time of year. And everybody's finally outdoors after a long, hard winter.
Lynn Paget is a fourth-generation owner of the swan boats and says there is nothing better than watching people get off the boats with smiles on their faces.
The ride is not that long, 12 to 15 minutes, but it's kind of amazing to see people as they're getting off the boat, how relaxed they are. And it's really a peaceful, short voyage in a busy day for a lot of people.
The swan boats opened on Saturday to what Paget called perfect weather. In the public garden, Mike Lucas, WEBN.
I've seen so many security people here, plus I knew that they were going to take extra precautions in order to ensure safety after what happened last year.
There are 5,000 uniform officers and 500 undercover patrolling the streets to control the largest crowd in the 118-year history of the Boston Marathon.
It's crazy. There are like so many people, and everyone's like, there's a certain excitement, I guess, that everyone's looking for now because it's about healing.
It's hard to not feel safe. Everyone's just so excited and happy to be here.
1 year after the Boston Marathon tragedy, the city is back out in full force. The atmosphere down here by the finish line is enthralling, but more importantly, everybody feels safe.
I feel safe, and I'm a jaded person, and as a criminal investigations graduate, I wouldn't have came here if I didn't have some faith into the criminal justice system.
At first I didn't want to come because I was nervous, but when I saw them like checking your bag and everything, I was like, okay, I feel like a little better about it, and like the news made me feel a little safer.
The vamped up security includes 40 checkpoints, baggage checks, and security watch posts on Boylston and the surrounding streets.
It's all because of the cameras, the police, the dogs, the people. I think everybody's watching for everybody else.
While safety is the main priority, this marathon is also about healing. In Boston, Mike Lucas, WEBN.